All right, let's jump into the bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news. We got eliminated. Hate saying it. Bills 27, Ravens 25. Just hate how seasons end, you know? You sacrifice so much, you do so much, and it's like a million miles an hour, and then it's a halt. Like, season's over, done. Everybody goes their separate ways. Close that chapter. This one hurts. Mainly because we had, this is not blaming anybody, but 3 turnovers is rough in any game. Hard to win a game like that when you have 3 turnovers. Wasn't happy with, how our group played on defense of responding to some situations. Second half, very happy with the way we handled
Responded
situations.
like a son of a gun. Man.
We bowed up really, really well. Wish we just did it a little bit sooner, but we had the right attitude and energy in the second half. I mean, we knew we were still in the game, and we got it popping in the second half. And, it just wasn't enough. You put yourself in a hole against a really good team. And, something that I saw them do, which I know I don't think I've ever seen them do this, is how conservative they played. That was the most conservative Bills team I've ever played against. I don't know about the talent thing that Josh Allen was saying. I think everybody knows they're talented. They have a top 5 O-line probably in the league. MVP Allen, solid skill players.
I don't know what he was getting at.
I don't know about that, but I can understand.
People find a reason to put a chip on their shoulder.
I do think defense, they could have had, they could feel that way because people were saying they were, too small and, all that. I don't know. Like, we lost. I'm not talking trash. I mean, I felt like we still ran the ball pretty well in the game. It just came down to turnovers. They had 3 critical turnovers that they made. They have some good players on there. Bernard, their middle backer, he's been one of the best backers in the league, middle linebackers. He's created turnovers. He's kind of took over that Matt Milano role that was established by Matt Milano, and now he carries that torch of being that guy of causing turnovers in the middle. He's been very, very good. So he played well. DeMar Hamlin's pick, and he had a sack in the game. And then the turnover, fumble, and, Von Miller scooped it up and got it down to the 8-yard line. Defense was playing on short fields all game, and which is tough against a good football team, and they played fundamentally sound. Got to give them a lot of credit how they played the game. They didn't make any mistakes. Josh Allen didn't make any very minimal mistakes when it comes to putting the ball in harm's way. Their running backs held on to the ball. They did a good job, and we didn't. And that was disappointing. And then, man, it's so frustrating when you lose. Like, you start looking back and this and this and this and this, and really just comes down to what McDermott said. They played with fundamentals that night, and that was the outcome of the game. You look at the yards, we out totaled them in yards.
Out
but
everything now.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the Texans did in the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
They didn't have any turnovers, but they literally did everything you could to put themselves in a chance to win, but ended up making some costly mistakes. But also, I do put 4th down stops into a turnover.
That's a turnover. And in the Chiefs game, they were 0-1 on 4th down. So.
Correct. And so, a couple of things that stood out in this game to me was the red area. We didn't bow up well enough in the red area. They did have a good time in the red area as far as defensively. They had the stop where the ball was on the 3-yard line, ended up kicking a field goal. That was huge. That was a big momentum change, as well as us on the flip side. We didn't do a well enough job in the first half of just limiting them to field goals. That PI call was hard. That was a tough one a tough pill. And then, I just felt like the energy was there in the second half, and we didn't start off that way on defense, and that was a little bummer. I think that was just a collective group. And I don't think the elements was a problem either. Guys were trying hard. Guys were running the ball. Guys were playing hard. Guys were hitting. I think it was just a matter of just didn't play our best football when it mattered. And, that's not what Ravens fans want to hear. That's for sure, after seeing how things ended their seasons in the playoffs before, whether it be to Cincinnati, whether it be to Buffalo years ago, I think in 2020, let alone last year with the AFC Championship, to now this year in the divisional round where it's turnovers. And, everyone gets to be right. The Ravens team is the only team that could beat the Ravens. And, we did that, unfortunately. And, go ahead, G, it's your turn.
Yeah,
if you have questions or whatever.
No, I just a few observations, man. Looking across the whole league of the games that were played, the team who won the turnover battle won the game. In the playoffs, you got to do a couple things. You got to be able to run the ball, stop the run. For sure. Run the ball, stop the run. Be great in the red zone, be great on third down, protect the football.
Yep.
And it's easier said than done.
Yeah. What's crazy is we did do well on third down offensively, and we did do pretty well, I believe, on defense on third down. So,
and I'll say this. Y'all played like champions. Y'all just didn't do it for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks, is because they didn't do anything where it's like, man, they just couldn't the Ravens just couldn't stop them from doing this, or the defense was stopping the offense from doing this. No. A few minor mistakes. A few things go the other way, and in hindsight it's 2020, but it wasn't like it was this or it was that. It was right here, right there, right here, and right there. And that's how the game went.